city council person because he would be up there and be going off. I'd say, come here. And then I'd probably hit him. Come here, couldn't hear you. Wang. Oh,
We're on.
huh? We're on. Good evening. And welcome to the Park and Rec Commission meeting. There we go. It's official. I call the meeting to order at 6:29 p.m. Roll call.
Fryer here.
Needham here.
Marmion present.
Olagoff here.
Boggs present.
Natalie present.
Thank you. Everyone's present and accounted for. Adoption of the agenda.
I move that we adopt the agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes of January 9th.
I move that we approve the minutes.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Citizen communications.
I did have a citizens communication, but it was written, so does that come under written communications at the end of the agenda? Okay.
Yes.
Citizens Communications is,
Oh, is then.
there was anybody here
Yes.
presently.
Oh, please. One at a time. Sorry, no one's in the audience. Thank you very much. Presentations, none. Old business, none. New business, capital improvement projects list, and we have an attachment here that we should all look at, and I think you're having an over-screen version for the people watching at home. No?
No screen
Yeah.
version.
Oh,
Then
sorry.
they all went the same way.
Moving right along in this agenda.
Thank you.
So as you all know, we do our budget as a 2-year budget, and each alternating year we revisit our CIPs. And so what you have in front of you is a document that's 4 pages. The first page is the list of CIP projects that were prioritized by City Council the last time they went through the CIP process and that are currently in progress. And those 3 projects all came up through the Parks and Rec Commission the last time we went through the CIP cycle. Those include lighting at the dog park on the north side, the new child care modular up at Brisbane Elementary, and Quarry Road lighting. So all 3 of those are in progress and at one stage or another. The next 2 pages that are the blue table are the list of CIP projects that were included the last time we did this process with the Park and Rec Commission. So we can go through each of those individually. Some of the items on here are a bit outdated, or they've been on the list for quite some time. So hopefully we can have some discussion amongst the commission tonight as to whether or not we want to leave them on the list. And my hope for this evening is not only to talk about each of the projects, but to also get some prioritization from each of you, so that when we take this to City Council in the next couple of months, we can say that there's a recommendation from the Parks and Recreation Commission for specific projects to be prioritized over others. So I'll just run through really quickly right now. This list includes signboard upgrades, the master plan for Crocker Trail and Old Quarry Road, bocce ball courts, turf renovation at both Brisbane Elementary and Lippman. The addition of a restroom up at Lippman Field, West Hill Mini Park, Marina Kayak Launch, a marquee sign for Mission Blue, and a library/community center study with the upcoming new library. And then the last page of the document include 2 staff recommendations for CIPs, which are the installation of AEDs at all of our high traffic facilities, as well as upgrading the sound system at the community center. So those 2 items have come from staff as recommendations. I will also add that we have not talked about CIPs in depth yet as from a staff perspective. These are just projects that we had over the last year or so that have come up and we knew we needed to include on this list, so we put them here for now. But that there may be additional staff recommendations that come as we continue through this process over the next couple of months. So at this point, I would turn it over to the commission to kind of talk about your thoughts regarding the items on the existing list And also, if you have recommendations for items that should be added, was supposed to go to City Council in March, but I think based on their schedule, it might get pushed back to April. So this is kind of the commission's first opportunity to discuss CIPs for the year, but we may also bring it back to our April meeting to have some further discussion if necessary. So.
Okay, thank you. I have one question. On the master plan for Crocker Trail and Old Quarry Road, you have an estimated cost of $100,000. Now, at our last meeting, I think when we were talking about that, I thought it was 60. It didn't, I don't think it included Quarry Road.
I think it did include both, but we estimate that it could be anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000, just depending on the scope and depending on the bids that are received. So
Yeah.
it's a high-end estimate.
Okay.
Yeah, through the chair, the addition of Old Quarry Road, that really got folded in partly on the recommendation of OSAC.
Oh, okay.
Because they've also discussed this, and they have, I believe, passed officially that they would sign on to the idea of spending up to $100,000 from the proceeds of the 280 South Hill
Okay.
sale proceeds. So
Yes.
my understanding is that that will go, and that there shouldn't be any much argument about it because those funds are already in place, set aside, pending recommendation from Parks and Rec and OSAC, and we've both reviewed that, and so I would assume that would move forward.
Right.
Well, that would make sense to Quarry Road, because part of the Crocker Trail, if you go right across the street, goes right into it. So it does make sense.
Yes.
But I just do not recall us including Quarry Road. So I just was clarifying that for myself. Is anyone else?
One question I had with regards to the turf renovation at BES is whether or not there would be consideration of the all-weather turf there, just given that I know how consistently muddy and wet that gets, especially during fall, and whether or not any sort of leveling or anything like that would be able to kind of get rid of the ponding, because I also think there's like a lot of water traveling just through that general area.
Yeah, and I
Just a
think
question.
Public Works has acknowledged before that the drainage is just not ideal for the
yeah.
field, and so it does end up being soupy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's certainly up for discussion. And then it's probably something that we would take back to the school district to further the conversation if that was the recommendation from Park and Rec Commission.
And we have the same problem up at Lippman. And plus, we have a lot of, I believe, gophers. I remember one time BES had a lot of gophers, too.
Yeah, that's what made me think about it, is
Yeah.
looking at that,
Yeah.
I think, recommendation for Lippman. It might
Yeah.
be considered for both, too.
David, by all weather, do you mean artificial turf? Okay.
Yeah, I think we talked about that previously at other time.
Through the chair, one other thing, dealing with the master plan for Crocker Trail. On the first page is Quarry Road lighting, and that has already been approved, the $40,000?
Correct.
That has been,
Yes.
that would also be something that would, I would think would be discussed and incorporated in a park master plan as one of the features of it, and would add to the pool of what we already have for that. And then the other thing is the signboard upgrades. That also has been discussed extensively here, and we have signed off on that idea, as has OSEC. So that would be a recommendation that would come from both OSEC and from us.
That's correct.
And in terms of the cost, which looks like a large number, the argument in favor it would be that that would be amortized over a period of about 5 years, at which point we would be saving money. That's correct?
Yes.
Okay.
The other one is just a question, which would be the Marina kayak launch. Just given the price tag associated to it, of the $620,000, I just don't know how much it would get used relative to other investments that could probably be made in that same ballpark. I mean, it's a very large number, right? So as much as I would totally be an advocate of having that, I guess price versus the amount of use, whether we would consider looking at other alternative things that could be impactful either to the marina, to elsewhere in the community, given how much that cost is.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I had one last thing, and this actually goes to the written communication I had, and that is regarding the Library Community Center study. And I got an email regarding that, asking if that was in fact going to come to Parks and Rec in terms of getting public input on what usage would be, what we would do with the existing library space once the new library is over. She had heard it discussed at the city council level and was a little concerned that she was gonna miss the opportunity to weigh in. What is the thinking on that? We haven't really had any word yet.
No, there really hasn't been any direction provided. The reason that this was on the list was because it came up the last time we talked about CIPs with the commission, and there was some concern about how the old building was going to be used, and Park and Rec commissioners expressed at that time an interest in being involved in the conversation. So it's on our radar. It just we haven't been given any direction from city council at this point as to what that process will look like. So.
And would it involve some funding? Would it take some funding? It says to be determined. It's under capital improvement. But it doesn't necessarily, I mean, for us to facilitate a community conversation about recommendations.
It wouldn't have to. It could if the city decided they wanted to hire a consultant to come in and facilitate a community engagement process. But it could also be something that were organized and facilitated from the city's perspective.
And the new library is scheduled to open this summer? Is it that soon?
I think late summer, early fall.
This year?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
I thought so.
that facility is going to be vacated soon. It's not too soon to start
Right.
this process. How do we?
Is it late summer, early fall? Now I'm second guessing myself. I don't know.
It seems like it because it's only like 3 or 4 months away. And
Yeah, I don't.
built yet.
Maybe it's
I don't know
They've
about
got-
that.
They've been doing foundations,
have.
I think.
They do?
I saw them working the other day.
I don't know. I'm not certain, but I could find out.
but it is within a year.
Yeah, I definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing, when you're talking about that, I just flash back to what happened with the teen center. You know, that building went away, and we still don't even know what's going to be put in that place.
I guess kind of going back to even my commentary around the marina kayak launch and just those funds there, depending upon maybe what the outcome is of how the community chooses to use the community center, maybe we would think about a reallocation of some of those funds, depending again,
Usually
whatever use.
Safety on it, like a riverhead. Yeah, that's better. That way I can have a little head.
Well, I would be interested in hearing as well, because I know that there are certain community group that's interested also in what's gonna happen to the community center. So,
Yeah.
and I do agree that if it is supposed to be finished within a year even, it's not too soon to start talking about that.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm trying to remember West Hill Mini Park. Create a new park. Where,
This
I can't think where it is.
this was on the list before I got
I know.
here, and I think it had to do. I don't know if it had to do with the what you're nodding.
I thought I remembered, wasn't that gonna be like like an exercise kind of thing? Wasn't that what that was? I'm thinking, is it
That
up
was
there?
originally the plan, like
Yeah.
a park course.
Yeah.
Is it up there in the back where those picnic tables are? Up in the top part?
It's off to the side, kinda.
I'm thinking way in the back of the Crocker Trail, you know, past the old railroad track, Oh, and now we have okay, it's right here, and then that kennel, dog
training
kennel
facility.
training thing is like down over here.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, is that mini park?
I'm,
There's picnic tables, that's what I'm just trying to,
the only description that I had on this from previously was that it was along the Crocker Trail at the end of Valley Drive.
yeah.
Well, it would seem then that that would also be something that would
Yeah.
be folded into a study.
plan.
Right.
A master
Yeah.
plan for
Right.
creating a linear park.
Yeah.
That wherever this opportunity is, that would be something that would be looked at and
Maybe-
costed out and then grants written for, or,
Yeah.
figure out how we would pay for it.
When we do our field trip, maybe we can schedule one to do the Crocker Trail and
Mhm.
those areas and figure out what
Mhm.
Yep.
we're talking
Yeah.
about.
Good idea.
So what I'm hearing is maybe that just gets folded into the, okay, consultant for Crocker Trail.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The Lippman Field restroom.
Oh, that would be great.
Well, yeah, we've been doing, well, how many
We've been
years
talking
we've been
about-
talking about that?
How many years,
Yeah.
Renee?
Well, I do know one thing is that putting it by the tennis court, I think there's an issue about doing it there.
I think it's the plumbing. that they-
Well, no, there's some other,
Oh.
another situation that, and I don't want to, comment on that because I don't want to give misinformation if I'm incorrect. But they were then talking about the corner, I believe, down closer to the swimming pool.
Mm-hmm.
That corner there, maybe looking at that. And I don't know what's happened with that anymore.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it kind of got taken off of our plate because the school district was looking into
Yeah,
the potential of taking that project on. But the last I heard at this point, they're no longer able to do so. So
Well, that's
Yeah.
the thing I do not want to comment.
yeah, yeah. So, and I'm happy to follow up with the school district to find out, where we are with that process and where they stand, just to confirm, what the next step would be if we were to pursue that project.
But it would be good if we had that down there because we do have a baseball team,
Mm-hmm.
and still the soccer players, so that would be great. Anybody else with any?
Just on the last page, replace the decade-old sound system, and I know that's a staff recommendation. That has not been done yet. That has to go through capital improvements,
Oh yeah, this is new.
This is new.
Yes.
So this will go on the capital funds request.
Correct.
The sound system will get replaced
Mm-hmm.
summer or whenever they pass that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That would be a great.
Oh, I'm sorry, this is the community center.
I'm sorry.
Yep,
I-
but that would be a great addition.
Yeah.
What about the one up at Mission Blue?
$3,000 for the community center. I was reading that Mission Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading that as.
No,
Mr.
so Mission Blue we already
It's been
allocated
done.
funds for that.
Yeah.
I see.
That's what I was
Yes.
gonna say.
Yeah.
So this
that-
is-
that-
this is new.
That's a separate project.
Okay.
How does the city go about getting bids for things like this? Because, I mean, theoretically, I'm sure we could get a phenomenal sound system in the community center for way less than that.
Yeah, and this is really just a very rough estimate from staff's perspective, but usually we kind of try to abide by our procurement policy and we go out and collect at least 3 bids from different vendors who come and they will spec the project and they'll see the facility and they'll do a walkthrough and then they'll give us an estimate of what they assume the cost to be. So
I know
could be
with
less.
seniors that we've had a problem with the sound system.
yeah, it's really outdated. And
It's
I
really
know
bad.
Brisbane Dance Workshop would appreciate an updated system too.
Well, and the other thing is,
So.
we might have an opportunity for a donation for especially that.
Okay, okay,
So I would,
okay.
maybe, is it okay to email you about
Sure,
that?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, thank you.
Any further discussion on the capital improvement project list? No? Okay, I'm gonna move on to reports. Chairperson. Oh, that's me. No, I have nothing to report. Thank you very much. Oh, I made it funny. Subcommittees. Subcommittee meeting reports. Concerts in the park. The beginning preparations for
Kevin,
the upcoming
Do you want to do
event.
that?
Well, I was wondering if Natalie wanted to do that, or if you were you prepared to do that? Okay, I'll do it then. So.
Thank you.
One second. So we had a meeting, and we are well underway. We have about 15,000 budgeted to spend on groups as well as the banner, cost of the banner. We have in mind 5 bands that we agreed upon, although they have not been contracted yet. That's the next step. They are Rolling Heads, Andre Theory, The Billy Martini Show, Lost Dog Found, and Big City Swing. That still leaves enough money in the budget to hire a rather expensive one, and we talked about a couple of them, and they're going to look into that. We do have a meeting. Did we put a meeting on the calendar? We didn't.
I don't think we did.
No, but we will meet again
Right.
soon and see what comes up. The one thing is that it was not announced to, or there wasn't an outreach to community members, the stakeholders who are interested in that. And it would be worth it for us to reach out to them so that they could come in and give their feedback. Of course, so that's 5 that we've chosen. There's a 6th one still pending, and then the 7th one would be the DJ event.
The follow-up meeting, found my notes. The follow-up meeting would be a setup basically for the food vendors, getting the quotes for that. Did you mention the dates?
The which?
The dates?
Oh, no, and I don't have that in my
Yeah,
notes, if you have that.
Yes. So for the concert schedule, it looks like the dates that they're looking at are starting on June 28th through August 9th. And August 9th would be the last day, would be basically having the DJ there, similar format as last year. The conflict with one of the dates is, I believe it's July 3rd.
Yeah, it's that
Okay,
July
or
4th
Yeah.
weekend.
July
and-
4th
and so we talked about how that would work out.
Right.
And it has something to do with the Star City thing.
Yeah, we come right up against the Star City, so it's set a little bit earlier because of when Star City happens, which is the
Right.
following weekend,
August
August.
16th.
Star City?
August 16th or
18th or something like
18th,
that.
yes.
I have to look.
Oh, well, that's pretty good to just go roll right into that.
Yeah, so it
correct?
rolls into, Star City must be the 18th,
Oh, that'd be perfect.
17th.
17th.
Hmm.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then did you mention about the bands and the genre? So basically the selection of the different genres of like the top hits, 70s, 80s, classic rock, and swing and blues. Just so everyone could have a variety and a lot of dance music involved.
Yes, we've gotten the message that the
Right.
community really wants music that they can dance to.
Yes. And we heard some that they couldn't have danced to, so
Yes.
that's why we were picking and choosing.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, thank you. Habitat restoration, beginning preparations for upcoming event.
I don't know when it is. I don't have the dates.
We have, let's see,
Habitat, what dates?
summer habitat restoration is June 29th.
Okay.
I feel like we talked about,
And where's that at?
okay, wait. I've got it all written down somewhere. All right. All I have is that it's June 29th. We already had an event on February 9th. We had cleanup and we had, broom pulling
And planting.
and planting. April 27th we're gonna also be doing some more broom cleanup, up by the Mission Blue area, and that's also Earth Day, or at least we're celebrating it. And then June 29th is all I have written down for summer habitat restoration. And lagoon cleanup is September 21st. And we haven't specified a place for that.
Okay, thank you. Recreation programs. Discuss improvements and/or additions to recreation programs.
We actually met with, oh gosh, John? What? Steve, sorry.
Sorry, Lee.
And reviewed all the current programs listings, and actually just really complimented just how rich the programs are. We didn't see any additions that we thought would be necessary or have any recommendations. So
I really say, for a small town, we offer a lot.
that's exactly what
That's
Natalie and I
exactly
like share. Is like, that was really
I mean,
impressive.
there's other cities that don't offer what we offer.
Mhm.
Right.
No, it was
Yeah.
a very healthy list, so that's why we
Right.
didn't recommend any additions given that exact
Right.
commentary.
Is it okay to go back to open space? Because there, in my notes, I noticed that there was one thing that they suggested that I thought was a great idea. We're trying to find ways of getting the youth more involved in the cleanup and part of our community, and so there was a suggestion that we talk to YAC and ask if they might be interested in gathering some volunteers for those dates. And if that's something that we can do, I'm happy to be more specific and I can get you the dates and information so that we can pass it on to YAC. I mean, I thought that would be a great way to get the youth involved in it.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
They also suggested a really interesting idea for a pop-up event. We're gonna be doing, I guess we're providing kiosks for cleanup on the trails, on the different areas. And one idea was that we do like a pop-up event where we do a hike down to the trails with the community and show them the different kiosks, and maybe we can even do a cleanup that day, but it would be just an event that we could notify the city people, and just do it. It's cheap and inexpensive, so I just thought that those were good suggestions for ideas.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you. And now setting subcommittee meetings. Okay, Brisbane Derby Day in the Park.
No.
No. Concerts in the park, you're going to meet again?
Yes.
Did you already set a date at your last meeting or not?
No, we didn't.
No.
You want to set it now, Bolgoff, Fryer, and Campo? Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
We could do second half of next week or the second half of the following week. That's 20th to the 22nd, 27th to the 28th.
I'm available on the 20th,
20th?
21st, and the 22nd.
28th, did you say?
Or the following week, the 27th, 28th. Or March 1st. Just to put some out there.
I'm also available the 27th and March 1st.
March 1st is a Friday, so the city closes at noon, and
Yep.
I tend to like these meetings towards the end of the day, 4 o'clock or so.
Right.
So, should we say the 27th?
Sure.
4 o'clock?
4 o'clock?
Sure.
What day of the week is that?
Wednesday.
Is that a Monday or Tuesday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. That should work.
And everybody can do the 4 p.m., is that right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. Events,
We have a meeting scheduled
yes,
for the 19th.
the 19th, and that has to do with the Luna Fest.
Is there a way to just We need one there.
Usually with the event subcommittee, it's pointed towards one special thing, like the fire hydrant restoration event or new events. And so I think the purpose of this meeting that's happening next Tuesday will be a joint subcommittee meeting with city council representatives to talk about LunaFest. So, yeah.
Okay, great. Do we want to pick another time to talk about any other new events? On events, or,
Probably get through the meeting next
okay,
week. And then,
let's see, okay.
yeah.
Festival of Lights. No.
Just finished that.
Yeah,
Habitat restoration.
well, that's coming up. She
Yeah.
gave the report on that.
Did they want to meet again? Did you set any other,
I don't think so.
We
Okay.
didn't set another meeting.
okay. Public art. Anything on public art?
Did we meet on that, Kevin?
No, the subcommittee of public art for this commission, the two of us that sit on it, we are, because we sit on that, then we sit on the Public Arts Advisory Committee. But there really is no purpose for us to meet on our own because we are in the thick of it,
Right,
in the Public Arts Subcommittee. So that's why it's on there, but I
Okay.
don't see
I don't think so.
first to meet.
Okay. And you just met at recreation programs. Recreational facilities. Do you think we need to meet again?
I think the last time we had our commission meeting, we talked about doing a trails, but we were waiting for the weather to be nicer
Right,
to do that.
And maybe another month
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
would be good.
okay. Seniors.
There's no changes there. I
Okay,
don't know that we need to meet,
okay.
other than I'd like the stove fixed at the community center. We keep waiting to see if we have a stove.
Well, that's facility, see? See, there you go.
The stove has been broken for so long, I can't even tell you how long.
Did you
And they keep saying they're gonna replace it, but nothing.
You put
Same
it-
with the chairs.
put a work order?
The chairs have been ordered. They are on their way.
Good.
And the stove, they are working on. There's been a few hang-ups with the placement, the positioning of the stove with the cabinets and with the fire suppression system. So there's a few things that are kind of holding it up, but we are working on it. So
Because if we have potluck, it's kind of hard to
Yeah.
warm up anything.
Yeah.
Use a microwave, but that's the best we can do.
yeah. So I apologize in the meantime, but we are working on it.
Okay, good.
And the chairs should hopefully be here
The
soon.
chairs are so bad.
Okay, teen services, Yak.
I thought they were gonna come and meet with us.
I think we decided we were going to have the teen subcommittee representatives go to one of the YAC meetings, but they just started with the new YAC members, so we wanted to give them a meeting under their belts before we threw you guys in with them. So maybe their next meeting, but we can Tricia can help coordinate and let you guys know and go from there.
I can imagine sleep.
Trails development. I guess, we're just waiting to do that with facilities. Cause she just said we were gonna go on
It would, other than the Crocker Trail, which is something that we could do as a whole commission as we get, if indeed we get involved in a master plan. Trails development, it would be valuable at some point for us to walk some of the other trails.
yeah, and I was.
Because I'm not quite sure what all of them are.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking about some of the walkways. Our bicentennial. I haven't been up to some
Yeah,
in a while. Just to
So
take
that they're fresh in
take
our mind.
a look at them. And then there was something that I saw some citizens were talking about, and it was a walkway we've been contemplating back and forth, and it comes off of, I believe it's up by Sierra Point, and it goes by, it's a easement, and there's houses right next door. It drops down, it comes down to Alvarado Street. We're talking about making that a walkway. But, we should probably look at those again.
Okay.
So, I know Lyle is in here. Do you want to wait until the weather is better?
Yeah, let's wait just another month until
Okay.
we're through.
Atmosphere of the river.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. But it'd also be good to see them when they're wet. How are they working? And then the use of 280 South Hill. Sales.
There's nothing new to report. We've talked
Okay.
about that previously, that we are going to propose under capital improvements to the city council that we spend up to $100,000 of that money. My understanding is it's about $250,000 total. And that recommendation has been, is approved as coming from both OSEC and Parks and Rec. The mandate for the use of the 280 sales proceeds is that when that happened, is that the city council said we want joint recommendation from both OSEC and Parks and Rec. So that's the current thing. There still will be funds there for another project, but right now that's the one we've got going.
Okay, thank you. So the only two subcommittee meetings are concerts in the park and the events people are meeting with the subcommittee. Is that correct? Okay, thank you. Okay, moving right along. Commissioners.
Didn't Kevin have a written
Hmm?
communication?
Oh, I did, which would have been under written communications, but I already
you'll get it
spoke
back.
to that when we were talking
This
about
is-
the.
Yeah, this
so-
is other
yeah.
commissioners. Have anything else to report? Okay, staff, programs report.
I just have a couple of quick things. Lifeguard certification, they had 4 people last weekend, so it's still open. We're looking for more people to sign up. No, I don't know. I think normally we get a pretty decent amount, but I think it's just the weather is kind of weird, and I think people don't want to be outside in the pool. I don't know. Also, spring break camps are coming up on April. There's 2 weeks. The first week is April 1st, and it goes through April 12th. So I think those are going to start ramping up a little bit here. The more signs I get up out on the signboard, that's when I tend to see stuff come in after the signs have been up. So utilize that signboard out there. That's pretty much all I have. It's kind of slow right now. When the new activity guide comes out in April, we'll have a whole bunch of stuff coming up for summer. So, but that's where we're at right now.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now commissioner matters, written
Sorry,
communication.
hold please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have
Oh,
some
I'm
stuff
so
too.
sorry.
I'll be quick.
Moving right along.
I'm just
I
moving.
know, Renee, you're determined tonight. You get out of here early. Just a couple things. First, I shared with each of you that Lyle noted that he will be missing several upcoming commission meetings due to his work schedule. So at this time, I'm trying to kind of still work with him to determine whether or not he would be available to attend subcommittee meetings and figure out whether or not he can remain on the commission. So as I have more information and communicate more with Lyle and potentially city council, then I'll come back to the commission and provide you with an update. But just wanted to make sure that you knew that that's why he's not here this evening. Also, we have our fire hydrant restoration event that we're going to be doing this year in May. We're going to start accepting reservations on March 1st. So you'll see some flyers and posters around town coming out shortly for that event. As we mentioned earlier, the city's going to be hosting a new event called Luna Fest. That's with the Luna Bar Company. That's part of the Cliff Bar Company. They do a series of short films that's for women, by women, about women, and we'll be hosting it up at Mission Blue on March 23rd on our brand new screen that we have up there, which is really exciting. We used it for the first time at Artists Evening of Sharing, and it's huge and it looks really great in the space. So we're excited to use it for that event, and the subcommittee will meet with the city council representatives next week and talk about additional logistics for that event. And then lastly, upcoming events, we have Parents Night Out on Saturday, and the next Parents Night Out after that will be April 27th, which will coincide with the Spring Thing event. And then lastly, we have the raccoon unveiling at Castaños Canyon happening on Saturday, February 23rd at 10 a.m. So all are welcome. There'll be some light refreshments and some remarks from the mayor. And that's it. Happy Valentine's Day.
Okay, thank you so much, and I do apologize for that. Okay, now, Kevin, and written communications.
But I already spoke to that earlier in the game, so.
Well, I forgot. Can you do it again?
Oh, well, it had to do with some concerns about when conversations were going to begin about what to do with the community center. And, you know, we talked about that there's probably a number of community organizations that should be in that conversation so that we can come up with some good ideas about what we should do with that.
Okay, thank you. Commission calendar.
So the only thing we had on our calendar as a placeholder was CIP follow-up. So if you guys want us to bring that back, that would be on the April meeting. I'll also make mention, March, sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
We're just, we're so far booked.
I'm thinking April because of the next point that I'm going to make. Stuart and I are both going to be out of town in Reno for a Transforming Local Government conference in April, which will mean that neither he or I would be present for our evening that meeting. So I don't know if the commission is open to moving the meeting to a different Wednesday evening in April. The room is available on the first Wednesday and the last Wednesday, or the 24th, excuse me. So I just wanted to put that out there so that it's on your radar. We could also cancel it if we have a light agenda, but as far as March is concerned, the only thing we had as a placeholder was CIP, unless the commissioners have anything they would like to add, and then just a note for our April meeting that Wednesday won't really work very well for staff.
Just if it matters, if we're gonna pick another day in April, I won't be here the 24th. I'll
Okay.
be in New York, but I will be here the first Wednesday.
Okay.
You,
First Wednesday work too.
First Wednesday,
Mhm.
April
I'll be the
3rd.
Yeah, I'm available as well on the 3rd.
Okay.
Oh wait,
Just
I
kidding.
spoke too soon. That's spring break.
Oh.
And it's
Okay.
Yes, so I kind of feel like maybe just for that, like, why don't we just maybe wait until the next
Yeah.
meeting and we'll see what our agenda looks like, and then,
Sure.
you know, like you said, spring break, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people might be gone or doing other things, so.
yeah, spring break's April 1st.
April 1st
break
through the
First
12th.
2 weeks, yeah.
And our schools, a lot of our schools are on spring break starting the 15th.
Yeah.
And so I would be gone, that's why I'm gone that week.
Yeah.
Mm.
We could set it next time we
Yeah.
meet.
Okay. Okay, well, that looks like it. So I'm going to adjourn the meeting at 7:13 p.m.
Hey, how
Thank
about
you
that?
very much.
Wow.
You're fast. She likes that gavel.